time. It's our time, my friends. Time for millions of maturepreneurs, 55 plus, who are hashtag not done by a long shot, to revolutionize how we lead, do business, and innovate our world. I'm your host, Jeanette Anderson, and welcome to my conversations with fascinating people who would rather inspire than retire. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode, another great episode of the Maturepreneur World podcast. And I am your hostess, Jeanette Anderson. And today with me, I have Neja Zupan, all the way from Slovenia. That's where you are right now, right?
Yes, right now I'm in Slovenia.
Awesome. Okay, I love that we have an international audience and an international speaker expert base, because then it's a small world. Oh, you know what? Every time I say those two words, I get the song from the Disney ride, It's a Small World, playing in my head. It's one of those earworms that won't go away. If you've ever been to Disneyland and you've been through the Small World ride, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to sing it because then it'll get stuck in your head too. Anyway, sorry, little segue there, but it's one of the things that just gets triggered automatically and it makes me crazy. Okay, so... However, it is a very small world. I know you're wondering what I am on about. All right, so let's talk about Neja. And today we're going to be talking about energy and its importance to you as an entrepreneur, as a leader, in any of the projects that you are doing. And so I'll give you her official introduction in a moment. We're going to find out more about her. But we're going to be talking about how to use energy as an asset to build a successful business and a successful life, for that matter. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're joining us this evening from Slovenia. It's morning of my time. And I will tell you about Neja because she is very accomplished in what she does. Dr. Neja Zupan is a global mentor, multidimensional leadership and founder of the Mastering Energy Academy. Oops, there we go. Missing words here. After healing aggressive cancer by recalibrating her energy without pharmaceuticals, she transformed her life from survival to sovereignty. Ooh, I love that word. Today, she guides high achievers to activate vitality, emotional clarity, and align success by mastering their energy frequency. With lived wisdom, deep science, and spiritual precision, Neja helps leaders shift from burnout and force into presence, purpose, and radiant impact. Her work is not theory, it's embodiment, and it's transforming lives across the world. Oof, that is so well written, Neja. That's one of the best intros I've heard or said in a long time. Okay, great language in there. So tell me, please, something about you that we wouldn't guess. So clearly you've gone a cancer journey, you do work with leaders. Tell us something about you people wouldn't guess from reading your website or your bio or whatever. What's something that would surprise us?
Yeah, Jeanette, thank you for inviting me, having me in this podcast, and all listeners. Very much welcome to this podcast. Many people would not guess that I was playing accordion. So I'm quite short. I don't know in inches, but in centimeters is 1 meter 58 centimeters, quite short, quite tiny. People usually say to me when they see me on the screen that I'm big, but when they see me live, I'm very short person. But as I usually say that the best perfume is in the small packages.
There you go. I like that. And you play the accordion. You're talking about the big, accordion like this.
Big one. Yeah, big one, because I studied for 12 years and I was very proficient also in playing. So everyone wanted me to be a teacher, to be in orchestra, but my heart was completely other other direction. Of course, I still play instruments, but now I'm more engaged in, more interested in playing indigenous instruments like flutes, drums, drums, gongs, and all these
Cool.
rattles, you know. So I'm using more this. This is much more my style.
Right. Okay. Well, and it's an interesting instrument to take up because it's, in some cultures, in like polka music and stuff like that in Poland, it's very popular, but it's not as, it's an instrument that's a little older, like not very current. Not a lot of people play it these days. So that's very cool. All right. So let's talk a bit about you and your journey and your why. So tell us, why do you do this work? Why do you care about this, all this energy stuff? What's your purpose in life?
Actually, from very early beginning, everything started to unwind for myself. I was not, like I'm completely in. But when I started to think about my past, about my childhood, I always wanted to play medical doctors. But because at the age of 6, I was diagnosed as a child with special needs, I couldn't enter normal school, so I was under different tests, and it was chaos in everything. So from this point, I was prevented actually to go to study medical school because a psychologist said this is too difficult for you. But when I finished secondary school, and I went to the university, I already started to study 6 different modalities in natural healing. So natural healing was actually my destination, destiny. Yeah.
And so what do you think interested you in being a doctor or healing right from the very beginning? What was it about that was part of your purpose? Because a doctor is a job, but that's not necessarily a purpose. What is it about healing in general that was so important to you?
I was always interested in roots, why something is happening, why, for example, some illness occurs, why somebody doesn't have success in life, why some relationship doesn't work, why we are sad, why we have lack of money. So all this why. I was this why person.
The why child.
And everything comes to the end result is energy. So if we don't have energy, the right energy, I was not aware about this in the childhood. But when I started to study at the age of 18, all these different modalities, I all the time more and more became more aware that energy is the primary reason why is happening things in our lives that is happening.
So from the age of 18, you started to study this, and you started to study natural medicine or modalities at 18. So tell us a little bit about your journey, your careers and work and so forth, and how did you get here, and how long have you been doing your business now?
So I remember already at the age of 8, I was screaming at home, I don't want to go to doctors because I fall, and the wound was really profound and quite long, and the blood was coming out, and I didn't want to go there. So this was the first time. Then the second time, I didn't want to get injections at age of 11. So I was not aware of everything. But at the age of 14, I already started to meditate. This came just from me, from inside out. This was not studying, but just living things. At the age of 18, I started to study, not with the thought that this I will be doing in the future. But along the road, I figured out at the age, it was about 25, that I really want to do this, that I already started to help people, and I got quite a good results out of this. So I said, okay, I have a mission, help people differently that our system does. So this was my beginning. So my company is, I established company about 25 years back. And
Okay.
yeah, 25 years.
For 25 years and been in business a long time, all doing this kind of energetic work.
Yes. Yeah. Not just energetic work, it's all together. It is multidimensional intelligence activation. That means that through work that I'm doing, we activate body intelligence, emotional intelligence, mind intelligence, energy intelligence, and spiritual intelligence, because we are human beings, not just the body. We are complete all together, so that we become aware of different signs, different not just signs, but different layers, different levels of our human existence.
So is this, I'm curious, is this mainstream in Slovenia, or is this fairly fringe? Because, for instance, natural energy or naturopathic medicine is still considered alternative in North America. Now it's not, it's just the same as the others, but it's still kind of considered out there. And the same thing with energy workers and healers and so forth. They tend to be considered as woo-woo, is the phrase that they use here. How is that in Europe and where you live?
Yeah, it's the same. So we are considered as developed country, Yeah.
The what country? The
what? Developed. Yeah, developed country.
Right.
Unfortunately, what I perceive, cultures that take human being as a whole, they are much more developed than we are.
Right. And so your work has been kind of is so again, healers and energy workers and so forth in North America tend to be considered kind of on the fringe and a little weird and out there and so forth by some people, by quite a few people. It's getting more and more mainstream acceptance and understanding and so forth. How has it been developing a business in something that's kind of considered to be not the norm? So what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced developing this? Because a lot of the listeners are healers, are psychics, are energy workers, are people who work in the alternative medicine realm, et cetera, those kinds of fields that are not considered mainstream. What was the biggest challenge for you in your business in this arena?
It was exactly what you said. So it's not mainstream. So I need to talk about my experience and experience of my clients a lot, so that other people come and experience results by themselves. Not that I speak about the results, but that they perceive, that they feel results.
And so so a lot of it has been education, really getting them to understand and sharing stories. So that's important because most marketing that's really effective is about sharing stories. Really, communication throughout history and around the world is about communicating with stories. So on that note, share your story about your cancer journey and how you healed yourself.
This was actually a very interesting part of my journey, my life. All my female ancestors passed away for cancer. So I was like next in the row, the youngest one, when I got this diagnosis. But because mortality rate was 100%, so I said, no way that I go with allopathic medicine, because 100% I will die. So I opted for a different approach, awakening my multidimensional intelligence. So awakening energy in myself, transforming my mindset, transforming how I feel, transforming energy fields inside me and around me, and like shift, reconstruct, recalibrate my body to a completely new identity that I was becoming. From beginning, of course, I started my transformation as healing process, but what at the end was a result was complete transformation of my identity, recalibration of my energy, and complete reconstruction of my life. That's why this was one of the main fundaments, one of the main pillars why I started, why I was able to start international business. After I reconstructed myself, I was able to go internationally because my energy afterwards allowed me to do so.
So when did you get your cancer diagnosis? How old were you?
I was 42.
42, and what kind of cancer did you get?
It was aggressive form of ductal hormonal dependent cancer. So it was on breasts. I have had two like centers. One was about 2 centimeters big, and the other one was 1 centimeter big. And I had a lesion, so like spread around the soft tissue, you know. And they couldn't remove this one, the last one. I opted to remove these first two surgically, but the lesion was staying inside because it was not possible to remove it. And then I said, okay, we finish with this, I go just natural healing. I was prescribed 30 chemotherapies, 35 radiations, and 5 years of hormonal therapies.
Wow. Okay. And so what you went with was not chemo and radiation. What kinds of things did you use that were on the physical level? What kinds of things did you do physically?
Yeah, on the physical level, I did 5 detoxification processes. 2 was cleaning my body with different herbs. This was like pouring into myself each day about 25 liters of different herbal decoctions to really like cleaning, you know, take a shower from outside. I was taking a shower from inside. So this was 2 times. Yeah. Then I did 2 times Panchakarma. This is from Ayurveda. And 1 time I did like mixture of juicing and eating raw food and all of these things.
Okay, so very healthy food and
Yeah.
25 liters a day. Holy crap! I have a challenge getting 4 liters a day in me. So that was physical. How about on this spiritual level? What kinds of practices did you put in place?
I meditated every day. I still do. You know, one thing that I want to tell you that before I got cancer, I already practiced all this. So many people say, yeah, why you got cancer? Because you practice all these meditations and healthy food and sports, and I already had my own business, and I was very happy about this. Why actually you got ill? And I usually explain that God said, after 25 years of studying, now is you get a test. So you will pass or you will die. And obviously I have passed it. Okay. So I just did everything in more intensive way what I was already doing. So from the spiritual level, I was practicing a lot of meditations. I was using power plants. I don't know whether you heard about power plants from Amazon forest. So that I got in this widened state of awareness, what was causing. So I was able to see everything, all the previous lives, patterns from my family, what I inherited. I practiced a lot of breathing, because with breathing, I don't know whether you know Stanislav Grof. He's very known about this breathing. So I was practicing a lot of breathing. So with a lot of breathing, with depth of breathing, you also can enter into a transformed state of consciousness. So I was practicing also for long times, and also in one piece for a long time, like 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours in one piece.
Wow!
So that I really entered in different state of consciousness, and from this state of consciousness, that is very easy to see what is not running good in your life, and transform it. And from that perspective, I already got information what is not flowing correctly energetically, and I was able to transform all this. I was able to see what mental patterns were limiting my existence, my health, my business, everything. You know, when you see with really good clarity, then it's just a decision whether you start to implement this or not.
So you sound very disciplined, because part of what I'm curious about is a lot of people know that there are things or people or situations or circumstances or things we do to ourselves that aren't healthy, that aren't helpful, that are toxic, that are, not in alignment with who we want to be, but they don't necessarily change it. So how did you develop that discipline or that ability to do the things that would support you? What was different than before, or maybe not before? You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who don't have the same level of discipline and commitment you do. Obviously, there was a super motivating force behind it, but
exactly this. I was very, very motivated to have results.
Okay, but there's a
So whether this is in business, this is in health, so I am very motivated to have different results than I observed in my family. I was not satisfied with what I was taught into. So I wanted to transform everything, and I wanted to do differently. So this is my really huge motivation moment. This really spins my movement.
Yeah, so it sounds like you were a why child. In other words, you always wanted to know why things were the way they were. Why couldn't they be different? Why does it work that way? What happens? And so from a very early age, you were questioning the status quo. And so when it came to your health and your well-being and your work, it's a question of, well, why does that happen? Why do people get cancer? What would work to change that? And so the curiosity led you a lot, but also you've got a really strong commitment. I was going to say there's a book called Change or Die by
very good
Alan Deutschman. And he studied 3 different groups: people who are recidivists, people who repeat offenders, who are serious criminals, quadruple bypass, and the morbidly obese. And all 3 groups were told, if you don't change, you're going to die. And of the people told that, only 10% actually changed. So I'm curious, and the 3 things that he talks about in that book that are necessary to actually make the change is to reframe how you're looking at things. So your curiosity and your way of reframing things and looking at them differently worked very well for you. To repeat, so clearly you've got the discipline to repeat over and over. Like, we can't get fit going to the gym once, and we can't cure things by doing it once. So you repeated. And to relate. So we need to be around people who I call it see us with fresh eyes, to see us as who we're becoming, not who we were. How did that piece play into your life? Did you because you got a whole family that says, oh, you're just going to die because everybody else does. So how did you change your relationships? How did that come into play for you in terms of your ability to change? Because only 10%, when they're told they're going to die, will actually change. That means 9 people would rather keep doing what they're doing and die than change, which is an astonishing thought, right? So just being told you're going to die doesn't necessarily mean people will change. In fact, 9 times out of 10, they won't. So how did you change relationships or how you relate to people as part of your journey in your change?
In my work, I really guide people so that they, step by step, I am all the time beside them so that they can make change. It's exactly what you said, that most of the people lack motivation. That's why I have programs, step by step, and I'm all the time behind, like catching. Okay, for example, last time one lady called me. She has quite a serious illness, and she called me. She had some visions, and she was quite scared. And I said, "Oh my God, finally you opened your spiritual channel and you can perceive different things than other people." And she was so proud of herself that she never thought anything about this as a bad thing, but as a very good thing. So in my journey, actually, I was very cautious with whom I was speaking. So around me were only 7 people who knew that I was in process of overcoming cancer. And those were people who really completely believed and trusted that I will come out alive.
Right. So you really chose wisely in terms of people who see you as who you see you and who you choose to be.
Exactly.
And maintained that relationship and didn't entertain relationships with people who doubted or didn't believe that was possible or whatever. So that's very important, is to bring people around us who support us. And the other point that you just mentioned was as one of the wonderful things that good coaches can do is reframe for our clients how they're looking at things, because we tell stories about the world and ourselves and life, and often we make up really sucky stories that don't help us. So, like, her scary vision was bad, was wrong. It was a problem, and you simply reframed it to, oh, look at the positive of this. You're opening up your spiritual capabilities. Good for you, yay! I did something similar with a client the other day, and she came, and this is a problem. This is a problem. And I was like, oh no, this is way to go. Congratulations. The fact that you're really scared right now means you're actually committed and in the game. This is wonderful. If you weren't scared, I'd be very worried. And she was like, oh, okay, great. It's great that I'm scared. And it shifted her commitment, her energy, her focus. So one of the things that's really important is that ability to reframe as well, one of his 3 R's. And so as a coach, you do that. How were there specific things that you reframed in your thinking about your healing journey? Things that really needed to shift? So, for example, I imagine one of them is in your experience, 100% of the women in your family die from this cancer. That's the reality of it. How did you reframe that?
Because I was already, as a child, I was already in this natural healing. I didn't even think allopathic medicine as an option. Mm. So this was like embedded, implanted in me from the birth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you weren't like them. You weren't going to do what they did. Therefore, you weren't going to have the same results they had.
Yeah.
That makes
exactly.
sense. If you do what they did and expect different results, that's called insanity. If it's 100% of the time, that hasn't been the case. You mentioned God earlier, and I know many people who go through cancer journeys and other things that you've gone through in your life can create a challenge in terms of faith. There can be questions of, why me? I did all this right. I was eating healthy. I was, meditating. I was faithful, all these things. How come? And I hear you in terms of, okay, it's time to put the theory into practice as part of your framing of that. But did you go through any kind of, spiritual challenge with your relationship with God? Was there any times where you had to kind of restore your faith or get support with that?
Yes. It was mostly connected with loneliness.
Mm.
Yeah, because many people, at least around me, they don't think like I do, and it's then of course I can help them, but they cannot support me. Mm. And yes, why I am all the time just alone. This was the big question for me. And then through this process of outgrowing cancer, in one meditation, I became aware that energy of God, presence of God, is all the time inside me, around me, and I'm never alone.
Beautiful.
So yeah, this meditation is very important, plays very important role in everything, in all the reframing, because outer world usually don't have any specific explanation for why it's happening. But when I really sit in very quiet, then I get this information why it's happening.
Great. Okay. I had a similar experience. I'll just share very quickly, similar around that whole question of loneliness. I was doing a prayer meditation, and I said to God, I feel like I'm in this circle of people, but I feel lonely because so can you bring their arms in closer to hold me so I feel more held? And God's answer was no, that they don't need to shrink to hold you. Your job is to expand out to feel held. So be bigger and you will feel held rather than asking them to be smaller so you feel held. So it was kind of a similar thing. The loneliness that I was experiencing, the answer wasn't, kind of, oh, poor you. Yeah, we'll support you in staying there. It was, no, that be your bigger self and you will be connected and feel part of things because you're with those people who are like you. And so the loneliness can be a very challenging phase of this, especially if you don't understand, especially if you're part of society that doesn't, is not mainstream, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, let's talk about energy. Let's shift from your journey and shift to energy. Tell us a little bit about energy leaks, what they are, and how do we identify them?
Usually like low self-esteem or anger, or it's a nervousness, or for example, sadness. All these different low vibration emotions. Then perfection, people pleasing. Probably this is very very known to many people, or being feeling yourself above other people, or
inflated ego,
over responsibility, or this one, indecisiveness.
Yeah.
These are all these are like energies that are showing you that somewhere in your energy being, in your being, because you are physical body and around you is energy body, somewhere energy is leaking out. Or overthinking. These are a lot of people think too much, and they need all the time stimulation. For example, people cannot sit in silence. Usually people, my clients say, oh, I always need some radio that I'm not even into what they are talking, but I need that sound. Yes, you need that sound because you need distraction. Your spirit needs to be distracted by your mind, that you don't feel what is inside you. So these are all like signs that somewhere energy is leaking out. Okay. And that's why you cannot get creative ideas, you cannot get money, or you cannot have good relationships, or you get ill, or different. Then this leakage of energy appears in different levels.
Okay, so how do you plug the energy leaks? Because when I think of leaks, I think of like a wall with a leak, or a part of your body, and you plug the hole. How do you deal with energy leaks like that?
I usually suggest to do some energy practices. I practice Vitalis exercises. These are exercises combined from kinesiology and traditional Chinese medicine, but you can also do like yoga or Tai Chi, Qigong, different practices. So I suggest to my clients every day just to raise energy. And when you have enough of energy, then this limiting belief, limiting value, or limiting identity pops up, and you can deal with it. Otherwise, it stays inside, deep into unconscious, and you are not aware, although energy is leaking.
Okay, so part of it is creating some kind of spiritual practice that helps you to pause and be with that so that you can see what it might be connected to, so that you can get a sense of what's really going on inside of us. And so is there a particular practice or tool that you can provide us with now, or show us that's a good little intervention or a little way to kind of get present?
Very good practice is also breathing. So you concentrate on your heart, and you slowly inhale, count to 4, and then stop, count to 4, and then exhale, count to 8. And then again pause, count to 4. But you concentrate only on your heart. With this energy exercise, breathing exercise, you calm your mind, because your mind is the biggest enemy of your spirit, of your energy. So inhalation, 1, 2, 3, 4 through nose, and pause, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhalation through nose or through mouth to 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and pause. And once again, inhalation, 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, 1, 2, 3, 4, exhalation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can show one very effective energy exercise. This is physical exercise, but activates your brain. When brain is too active, many people, the thoughts are all over, they cannot calm down thoughts. But this exercise connects right to left, both sides actually, hemispheres, back to front, and like neocortex with limbic part, so thinking part with emotional part. So you put fingers like this, thumb and 2 fingers, this is index and middle, and you put them here below collarbone and beside, like this, always like this.
Just one hand.
beside the sternum, so breastbone, and the other hand, the middle of the hand, you put on your navel.
Okay.
And just leave on the navel. Here you do massage, like pressing, because you with this way pressing to inside, in, like this. Do you see well?
Yeah. So kind of
pressing. Pressing. So with this you stimulate all this what I said. And now we change. This is about 20 seconds. And we change. So this hand that was used for stimulation goes now to the navel. And the hand that was on navel, you put here below the collarbone and press again. Press. If this is painful, this just means that energy-wise, you are depleted.
Okay.
So do this. A
little bit, especially on one side. This side.
Okay. And so the next. This is also about 15 to 20 seconds. Then you put fingers like this above the lip and below the lip, and you rub left and right, while other hand is still, other palm is still above your navel, and you rub left and right. Yeah, left and right.
Okay, what is
Again.
this? It looks very weird.
Yeah, these are points from traditional Chinese medicine where you stimulate function of your brain.
Okay.
So the brain gets energy to function, because we don't operate just as energy-wise on food, but also energy around. And then now you change.
Okay, and you do that for like 20 seconds too?
Yeah, again.
Okay.
And the last one, 2 fingers, index and middle finger, you put on the coccyx, on the back,
Yeah.
on the coccyx, and you massage this.
Okay.
You massage on coccyx.
Okay. So
And
coccyx is your tailbone, right?
yeah, tailbone, yes. Tailbone, yes. Yeah, tailbone. And again, 15 to 20 seconds, and you change.
Okay. What if your tailbone is way behind a whole bunch of bum?
It doesn't matter. You still have their acupressure points,
Okay.
because we are stimulating acupressure points. And
Okay.
usually people get like a heat wave or different feeling in, you got heat wave?
I'm warm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
That's
Because
so-
energy starts to come in, into your body.
Okay.
That's very simple but very effective exercise. I call it energy coffee, because I suggest my clients to do it instead of coffee, drinking black coffee or tea with caffeine. This stimulates too much adrenal glands, and you then of course you get some energy, but then you need to pay for this energy, because adrenal glands are too much stimulated, and adrenaline are fluctuating into your body. But with this energy coffee exercise, everything is resolved. You just get energy.
And these exercises and some more are part of your ebook that you created that you have for people, right?
Yes, exactly.
Tell us a little bit about that. So it's the 7 steps, energetic alignment in action. So it's your morning ritual, correct?
Yes, this is morning ritual, because I don't know whether there exists some saying in English, but in Slovenian we have like quote that after the morning the entire day depends. Do you have something like this?
Well, yeah, there's often people will say things like you got to start the day off with a good breakfast because that sets the tone for the whole day, or your morning sets the tone for the day. So,
exactly this one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, it's this one.
So they can get that at highfrequencyenergyformula.com.
Exactly.
And/or you can go to, so we'll have that in the show notes, but you can go to the vault. So this is something new we've instituted, ladies and gentlemen. Go to the vault, opt in there, and not only can you get Neja's great ebook, 7 Steps Energetic Alignment in Action, you can also go and get all the gifts, or as many of them that you think relevant, from all of our other speakers at the same time. They're all in the vaults, and they have their name, their episode, what their gift description is, and the link to go and get their gift. Now, you do have to go to all the different sites to get their gifts, but that way you can see all the different gifts and get them all at once. And so if you're, someone who's listening to another episode and you haven't heard this episode, when you go in there, you get to see Neja and her gift as well. So we think it's better for our guests. They get exposure 365 days a year. We think it's better for the listeners because you get access to everything and everyone all the time, not just this, and you don't have to worry about having missed out on things. And it's better for us because we get to keep you all together in a community and serve you better. So I hope you go and register for the vault. It's in the notes. It'll have her gift. And or you can, if you prefer, you can just go to highfrequencyenergyformula.com. So that's a great way to get to know you. And while we're on the topic, tell people where they can find you and information about you. What's the best place for them to go?
The best place is Instagram or my webpage. So on Instagram is Dr. Dr. Neja.Zupan.institute. Okay. So this is on Instagram, or my webpage, nejazupan.com.
Okay. Neja is spelled NEJAZUPAN, institute.com. Okay. Or just Neja Zupa or Neja Zupa Institute.
Yeah, no, it's my webpage is nejazupan.com.
Great. Okay, and let's wrap up here with one more thought about how to reconnect to your personal vitality, even while building your business. Oh, this is or rebuilding your income after 55. So, what advice do you have for people who are a little older? We get told that as we age, of course, our energy goes down, but it's not necessarily, of course. So how do we reconnect to our personal vitality so that we can be the difference that only we can be in the world?
First reframe, I would say, according to scientific research, our bodies are built for living 150 years. So if you are 55, 60, 65, 70, you are not on the middle yet.
Yeah.
You are not on the half. So if you don't have energy to start a business, just practice a lot of energy exercises that you get energy, because you are meant to live 150 years.
Right. That's interesting. I haven't heard the 150, but I have heard the stat that people who are being born now, so brand new babies, will live to 130. And more of us are living to 100. It's getting more common. And apparently our bodies are meant to live to 150. And a lot of that is just that we have been taught for so long that, you get born, you go to school, then you grow up a little bit, you go to college or university, then you get a good job and a career, and you get married and you have 2.5 kids and a white picket fence, and then you retire and then you die. We're told that's kind of how it works. And you retire at 65 and you die at 75. Except that is so 1950s. That is not the case anymore. That whole path and that whole quote unquote reality isn't real. It doesn't exist anymore. So we really need to reshift how we think about aging, how we think about living, how we think about retirement, whatever that may be, and create the energy that supports us in being able to be who we want to be, because we get to be whoever we want to be, but we need the energy to support us. So it's a very important work. And what's one piece of advice you would give to people who, again, might be a little bit older, they're 50 plus, 55 plus, whatever, and they're thinking about starting this new venture, whatever it may be, nonprofit, a business, getting a job, just volunteering, whatever it may be. They're thinking of this next chapter in their life and not sure that they can do it, not sure that they can, carry on. How have you kept going so long? What is it that keeps you energized and vibrant and inspired? What would you tell me?
As I said, I'm practicing a lot of energy exercises. But what I would like to tell, that we are not body. We are spirits with occasional body material experience. And your spirit never ages. And if you keep this in mind, that might be that body gets a bit older, your spirit, if you keep it alive with a lot of energy, you work on yourself, then everything is possible.
Love that. Thank you so much. And thank you. As you said in your introduction, you are the embodiment. It's not just about theory for you. It's about embodiment and really using that enthusiasm for this to transform lives around the world. So if you are curious about how to increase, sustain, manage, develop, expand your energy, how to get in touch with all of the aspects of you, your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body, your energetic body, all of the parts of you, and how to get them all firing on the same cylinders and going in the same direction, then you can reach out to Dr. Zupan and or study this. There's lots and lots of books and practitioners and people in your region if you feel more like you want to work hands-on with someone. And you can get lots of great work done remotely as well. So don't let that be a consideration or stop you. But our vitality, our energy, our ability to show up and contribute and make a difference and make a meaningful income and take care of ourselves, that comes from our spirit, from our vitality, from our energy. So thank you for these reminders. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for support with growing your business, with the practical side of, okay, I'm working on the inner game, now what about the outer game? Please check the link below and book a call with me, or look in the show notes and book a complimentary consultation with me to talk about your business, your vision, your next project, whatever it may be, to contribute and to earn income. Let's get you rocking. Let's get you going on that outer game as well as this very important inner game. Thank you so much for being here, Neha. Is there any last word you'd like to leave people with?
Laughter is your most important medicine. So whatever obstacles in your way, laugh at them and everything will change.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. Please share this episode and subscribe for more like this. Thank you for listening. I'd love it if you left a comment and subscribed. And I encourage you to apply one aha from this interview right away so you can turn your wisdom into wealth and your contribution into positive change. Bye for now.